Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Artist Next Level podcast. I'm super happy, super excited to be here with you. Let me tell you something. There are plenty of accountants who understand business, who understands numbers, and there are plenty of artists who understand creativity and the studio and everything that they do inside related to their art. But it is quite rare to meet someone who truly understands both worlds, the money side, the number side, and the studio side. Today's guest is Amber Reusch, a CPA, entrepreneur, working artist, and the founder of Dots and Digits Accounting. Yes, you heard that correct. Accounting. She has spent more than a decade helping businesses navigate accounting, financial strategy, and growth while also building businesses of her own. So he's also an entrepreneur. As an exhibiting artist, Amber knows firsthand the unique challenges that come with pricing your art, managing your finances, paying taxes, which nobody likes, and building a sustainable art career. So today we're talking about something that every artist needs, but we all like to avoid, which is money.
Resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
So Amber, welcome to the Artist Next Level podcast. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I cannot wait to jump in and start talking about all of this.
Yes, right. This is something that as we were preparing for the podcast, I was thinking about when did I started thinking about money? As an artist, right? As an artist, and because you probably agree with me, and probably you have seen this in the art world. You go to art school, and you can get even multiple degrees, and nobody ever teaches you about money, how to manage your money, how to make the money, how to do all these things. That's one of the reasons we started 10 years ago, the podcast, right? To kind of help artists navigate the world after, art school, the world in which we live today, and continues to get also more difficult. There are also all kinds of new things happening all the time, not only in accounting world, but now we have AI, we have all many things. So I'm really looking forward to chat with you because I think we're gonna have a great conversation about many topics, all related to kind of like this umbrella on our relationship to art and money and business, and putting it all together in a way, I'm gonna add, in a way that is mindful, in a way that doesn't add more stress to you. So don't think like, oh my goodness, this is the stressful episode that Sergio is doing every year. No, this is not it. Uh, Amber is gonna help us to make it awesome and really bring all down to earth. So the first question I have for you, Amber, is you wear two hats that very often don't go together, right? The artist hat and the CPA, right? The numbers person. How how did these two worlds came together for you?
Yeah, so I've always loved art. I mean, as a kid, I wanted to be an artist. I just love art. And I grew up in a world where I was told, not just family or parents, just the whole society that you can't make money at art. That's not a reliable career. You can't do that, blah, 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 right? The whole story that I'm sure a lot of us have heard. And unfortunately, I believed it. I just was like, okay, this isn't, and I thought I was really good artist as a kid, and I look back and I'm like, whoa, I really wish I would have fostered that throughout my career and where I'm at now, but I didn't. So I let it go, went to college, went to business school. My dad was actually a professor at the school that I went to. I had no desire to go to college, but he was like, "Hey, school starts tomorrow, and I'm dropping you off." And I was like, "Okay,
We're
here we
going
go,
together.
here we go." And he said, "You should do accounting because you can always make money if you get your accounting degree." And I liked money. I was like, "Yeah, sure, I could do that." And
Now,
so I
did you
did
like
it.
numbers? Because I think
No,
there's a
I like
difference between like
numbers.
money and numbers.
Money and numbers.
Most artists will say they like money too.
I grew to like the numbers. So I will
Okay,
say that
I
I
love
was
that.
never
I
good
love
at
that.
math. And so when artists are like, I'm not good at numbers, I'm not good at math. It's not about that. Like we can get over that mindset because I wasn't either. I found myself in my first accounting class and the professor said, most of you are never going to get your CPA. It's very hard. It's very hard to get it. Most of you will never get it. I took that. My personality is I took that as kind of a challenge. And I was like, oh, I can do it. Like, I'll try. I'll do it. It was very hard and I failed a lot, but I kept going and I got it. So I got my license, but I never wanted it. You know, it was one of those things that I just did it because society told me to. In the background, I had my art. Like I was making jewelry, I was painting, and I was selling it. I was doing art fairs, I was doing the local craft shows, and I was doing the bigger circuit juror ones too. I was selling all over the place, galleries, shops, museums in my area. But I don't know. To me, it wasn't validating enough. I still didn't believe that I could do it. Right? I was early 20s, but here I am selling it, but I that voice in the back of my mind was like, "You're never gonna make money at it." So I still followed the path. I went and got a job with my CPA, hated it. The universe, told me there was something else to do, and when you listen, the answers come, right? Whatever you believe in, when you listen, they're there, and I got really sick, really, really sick, and a lot of that was anxiety and stress and a bunch of things, but what that did was it forced me to quit. I quit because I was done. Like I couldn't do the full-time life anymore. And I did a couple other things and ended up opening. I was like, I'm good at bookkeeping. Like I like business. I love talking business with people. So I opened Dots and Digits accounting, started doing bookkeeping for people, all different industries. And I was like, what do I love more than anything? It's art. It's going to art shows. It's talking to artists. It's asking them questions that they don't want to answer sometimes when I ask about money or how much did you make, all this stuff, I was like, I love it. And so I could not find anybody else as a CPA in the accounting world catering to artists. I couldn't find, I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but I was like, I'm going after artists. Like I understand them. My passion is with them. How can I help artists make more money? Right. And not fall victim to the starving artist mindset or not think what I did as a kid that you can't make money because it's not true. I work with a lot of artists that are making a lot of money. And so it proves to me every day, my inner child, it proves to me that that was not true. That was a false narrative. And
Yeah.
I'm working really hard to flip that for a bunch of artists. It's my passion. So I don't
I
know.
love it. I love it.
That answer your
I love it
question?
because yes, no, I love it. I think there are a lot of parallels actually between your story and my story too. So I grew up in Mexico, and when I grew up, like, I actually never met from the moment I was born to until about probably 18 years old. I never met actually a living artist, but I was making art. So I grew up in Mexico until I was 16. I was in Mexico City, so I always went to the museums with my parents, with my cousins. So I always saw the dead artists, right? Like the Frida Kahlos, the Diego Riveros all the time, and the artists that would come to Mexico exhibitions, but I never actually met like in the flesh, like, oh, that's an artist. So I never thought I could check the box. When somebody me, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I never said, oh, there's a check box for artists. I always say, oh, I don't know, maybe designer, architect, 'cause I love
Yeah.
creativity, right? But it's kind of like in the same thing when I told my parents, hey, I want to pursue art. And the reason I did it is because my high school teacher said, hey, have you considered a career in art after I came to the United States? And I was like, no, is that even possible? And he said, yeah. And he actually showed me some magazines of samples of some of his previous students who actually were doing it. And I was like, "Oh, I guess you can." So I told my parents, and the first question is like, "So how are you gonna make money?" Right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I don't know. That was the first time where I connected art and money. I think like, oh, and in the brain, they almost feel like when you're starting out, at least in now I think it's better because a lot of us are talking about it. You're talking about it, and more people are talking about it. Back in the day, when you and I were, kind of getting into it, um, they no, and they seem like they were two opposite ends. Like either you go this way or you go that way. And even in art school, sometimes I felt like there was this disconnect where it felt like if you are really a purest, passionate artist, you have to really reject the idea of money. If you want to really be
Yes.
pure in your art, right?
Pure artist. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And that leads, of course, many artists to be, or to adapt that mentality, of the starving artist, right? Because it's
Yeah.
it's romantic. It's like, oh, everybody went through it.
Yeah. And it's like,
And
what is
no, this is
romantic about
2026. You
that?
don't have to go through
Yeah,
it.
no, not at all. You can make
Not
money.
at all.
I love
We
it.
have tools. We have things, right? We have people like you to help us out. And so today I want to ask you also a number of questions that probably many artists who are listening in our community probably have in their mind, that can probably help them too. And every time I talk about business, if it's a small group or it's in a college setting or a conference, I always like to say this, and I always had like, art is not about money. I think none of us went to art career because we think we're gonna get rich, right? We went because we love it, right? So art is not about money. However, you need the money to make the art that is not about money,
To
right?
keep going. Yes. Yes.
Exactly. So you cannot separate the two,
Yep. Absolutely.
because supplies, your time, your effort, your ideas, your energy, all that, requires the financial support. Even if, artists who say, well, I don't do it for the money, whatnot. But the moment you put out artwork in a show and they ask you how much is it, and you put a number, you're entering the marketplace, whether you want it or not, right? So that is something that all artists, we have to deal with. So I want to ask you a question, because probably you have seen this, you know, hundreds of times, and you can help us out. What is the biggest, or one, or maybe a couple of the biggest financial mistakes you constantly see artists making today, right?
Okay.
Even now.
Okay, a great question, and I'll try to sum it up and make it
Yes.
condensed for you because we could talk about this forever. I think number one, the biggest one, whether you're starting out or you've been established and you've been selling for a while, is just honestly not taking the money side of it seriously. And when I say that, yes, you need money to pay your bills, you have to eat, you have to feed your family, you have to be able to travel to the next show, all of those things, buy your supplies. But it's really sitting down, and most artists are like, "Oh, money in, money out, it's back and forth." But do you track it? And I know it's a pain, because even when I was doing my jewelry and my art, I didn't want to track it. I didn't want to spend time doing that. It's so important that you sit down, however you choose to do that, whether it's an Excel spreadsheet or a software like QuickBooks Online or something. I really think to make you go to the next step as an artist on the money side and making more money at it is knowing what it costs to run your business. Yes, there's the business of creating the art, but there's also the expenses that are there every month, your studio, your website, your software. Knowing those costs are super important, to help you develop what you're actually going to charge for your piece of work. And I get criticized back and forth on this. I believe, and what I see in artists is you need to know how much you want to make and then kind of back into what you're going to charge for your art. And there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. It's however you feel good as an artist. But if you know it costs me $2,000 or $5,000 a month just to keep the lights on in my studio, just to keep the website, the software that I need, okay, you have to make that. Like, you have to sell that to keep going. And then you add on the supplies and the event travel and all of that. Once you start seeing it, charging $10,000 or $20,000 for a piece of work gets a lot easier, because you know what goes in to running you as an artist and a business.
Mhm.
So that's what I see a lot. They're like, I don't have time. I'm scared of numbers. I'm scared of spreadsheets. And I'm like, that's all a mindset. Like, just get rid of it. Stop it. Either hire somebody like me or do it yourself. I truly believe that, every artist can do it. It's just taking a step back, sitting down, not being afraid of it. Now, if you're the artist that's like, I've got, $10 in my bank account and I don't know how the next, what we're going to do the next time, that's when you really have to face it. And it's gonna suck those first couple times, right? Where you sit down and you start understanding where's money leaving, how's it coming in, what are the inflows and the outflows. Once you stop being afraid of it, take a step back, mindset shift, it's not as scary. And then you need to do it. You need to do it every month, every quarter. Waiting till the end of the year to try to get your taxes in order is the biggest nightmare.
Yes.
And you're
For
going to leave.
you and for the artist too.
Yes. And they're going to leave money on the table. Like, I don't, because I'm the same way. Okay. Like, oh, I'll remember at the end of the year to record that expense. No, you don't. Like,
No, you
I
don't
get 2
remember.
weeks down the road and I can't remember what happened. So it's real time tracking. The artists that I see that really exceed and kind of take it to those next levels are ones that get serious about that, and they're doing it monthly. We're looking at the in revenue and expenses monthly. And it's not a nasty word, not a nasty word in the art world. It's just part of running a business. So that's a big one. Not charging enough, being afraid to put that price tag on the work of art, is another big one. A lot of times it resolves when we understand the numbers, the ins and out. That'll kind of work itself out, because it's like, oh, whoa, I do need to charge this. A lot of times it's a deep internal belief that you're not worthy enough of that price tag. And that's something that the artist has to work on a deeper level of getting past that. Um, and then throwing everything out there, like everything, instead of creating your style, your collection, just seeing what sticks. And there is something to that. I mean, you've got to, when I work with an artist, I mean, we're going to sit down and we go through what's really selling, at what price point, what did it cost, and are you actually making money on that, or do we need to scratch it? And sometimes something that they love, it's just not making enough money, or it's not selling, and their time needs to shift then into what is making you money, and how can you put your passion behind that? So a lot, curating it down. And I know you're really good at that too. I'm sure you're excellent at discussing that with your artists. It's like they throw everything on the wall and see what sticks. And yes, but at some point we've got to start narrowing that down for the collectors. Um, Not maintaining an email list. I'm really big on that. Like, your social media is great. It's a game. We all play it, right? But you need your own you need a way to market to people. Like, and so cultivate an email list when you're at shows, meet people. I think an artist that just wants to sit in their studio misses a lot. I think you, as an artist, I know I'm the same way. Like, I like to kind of be introverted, but you have to talk to people. You've got to be personable. You got to put your heart out there and connect with collectors, because they're buying your art, but they're also buying your person, you. Like, they like you and they want to buy what you can create.
Yeah.
Those are four of my big ones.
I think those are really good because I hear them also, talking to artists. And I love that, you touch on the mindset, because I think that's where it all starts. And I've seen some of your videos too, which, by the way, the fabulous will ask to share your Instagram so our friends can find you there too. You actually, just I think maybe a couple of days, you did a video on spending time alone, in solitude. Something that I practice too, because it's so important. We're like in this rush world, and people get up and the first thing they reach to their phone, and now you're into everybody's, you know mind instead of your own. And sometimes that I feel that that's kind of what the biggest mindset block, right? Where you start to believe like, well, when it comes to numbers, I'm not good at it, therefore I'm not even gonna bother. I'm gonna deal with it when I have no choice to deal with it, right? And I was, and you said it at the start of thing of a conversation. You said something to the fact that maybe you were not exactly maybe good with numbers, but you learn, right? You did that. I was exactly the same. You're probably gonna laugh at this, but when I got married, I didn't have a checking account. Okay,
Okay.
so I got paid, and I put all the cash in my pocket, and I always
And then when you
carried
were
it.
out, you were out.
When I got run out, I was out. Like, that was it. So my wife said, like, when we got married, she's like, that has to end. And like,
Good for
I
her.
agree.
Good
So
for her.
yes, so she has helped me a lot, in that area. And so the excuse that, oh, I'm distracted, I cannot do it, or I'm bad at this or that, it's just an excuse that says I don't want to deal with it. But by default, I am disorganized. People like ask me all the time, how do you manage, the gallery, your studio, your podcast, your managing, your courses, everything that you do? They think that I'm the most, like the most. I was born super organized, and I always tell artists, I was not. If you leave it up to me, if I leave it to my own devices, or my nature is like be totally disorganized. You don't want to look at my desk right now. But there's a point in which I by choice, right, by choice, I have learned to be organized. I have learned to manage my time. I have invested a lot on myself to get the tools that I need to learn to because I want to be successful in what I do. And I think artists need to understand that. And you're very good in what you're saying, that if you really want to build a successful art business, not just make art, you know, um, as a hobby, but like really build a sustainable career with it, you have to sit down and look at your numbers. You have to sit down and see how much did I spend on that? How much am I spending a year in submissions? That's one of the things that most artists like when when they sit down, like, oh shoot, did I spend like $700 in submissions last year? Wow, what could I have done with $700, right? So for example, so I always tell artists, like, for example, do a budget. How much do you want to spend a quarter or a year in submissions? And when you meet that quota, you said, okay, that's enough. And that makes you actually more selective. So I wanted to ask you about, the benefit of understanding your numbers, of knowing how much went in and how much went out. I think it gives you a lot of artists think that that's going to kind of like restrict you. I think that gives you freedom. Talk about the difference. Maybe the transformation of an artist that came to you like a big mess, and then after they got it all structured working with you, now they experience more freedom. If you can
Yeah.
walk us through
It's
that, that would be
it
awesome.
is it's that's the mindset too. It's freedom. It's not
Hmm.
restricting. Um and I've had those money things too since I was a kid, right? Like I
Yeah.
grew up in a very hardworking family, but we didn't have maybe as much as some other people. And so it
Right.
was always that, oh, I'm not wealthy, but watching my parents work so hard made me realize that it is freedom when you get to a point where you understand your money as an artist. And so yeah, like some different clients, and I work with clients that are like literally just starting out, like basically not making any money, to the ones that are making millions and millions of dollars a year. So I have this broad, I can see both sides,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I sympathize with both, because both sides of those artists have issues, have things that they're
Yeah.
working through with the money. Somebody coming in, the first thing that I'm going to tell them to do and we're going to work on is the budget aspect. Like, let's figure it out. Like, we need to reconcile.
Hmm.
That's the scary accounting term. Where are your accounts? Where's your money landing? Okay, we need to get that organized. Where's it going out? Let's figure out what you spent it on, and let's look at it. How much did you send on submissions? The other one that I see are subscriptions. Like, oh, I'm going to
Oh yes.
subscribe to this. And then you never use the software. You never sign into whatever
You're right.
class of course you bought. And I'm like, all right, we got to start scratching, right? If you're not making any money, we can find money in here. And so we narrow it down. And I want you to thrive as an artist. We need to figure out what that balance is when you're just kind of getting there where you need to make more money. So we scratch what we can scratch. I don't want you to feel like you're, not getting what you need to succeed. But the ones that you have never logged in or you haven't looked at in 6 months, we'll scratch them. Okay. If you want to pay them again when we get to that point when you're making money, great. But we set a budget, and we can do it both ways. They either looking forward, like where do I, what do I want to be? And then you can back into it. Every artist's mind works a little differently. So part of my job is figuring that out. I don't want to make it scary for you. So how does your mind work where we can reverse engineer into, what your budget needs to be for these shows? No, if an artist is like, I got this show and I'm going to spend $10,000 on the booth setup, but I have to take out credit cards and I have to take out loans, let's rethink that. That might not be it.
Hmm.
Maybe it's the right approach, but
Hmm.
what's the next approach?
And
Um,
sometimes it's timing, right? Maybe the right approach, but at the right time
at the right
as well.
time. Yeah. And I've
Hmm.
seen artists get really excited about a show, right? And it's a good show. They get really, really
Hmm.
excited about it. They'll spend $10,000 on their booth or $20,000 to get to that show,
Hmm.
and they sell nothing. And
Right.
then we are trying to pay off $20,000 of high interest
Hmm.
debt to get them just back to ground level, right? Back to
To
ground
square one.
zero is
Yeah.
what I call it. And
Hmm.
so there's always risks, there's always things you have to take, and you've got to decide if it's a good decision. But maybe right now is not the time. And finding your market, finding who to sell to, all of those things are important. And I like to have those conversations with the artist. And whether you're working with somebody like me or you're by yourself, you can do all of this by yourself. I mean, it's sitting down and it's getting quiet. I meditate. I believe in meditation. Whether it's prayer for you or whatever you want to call it, it's getting quiet and asking yourself, is this the right decision? And your body will tell you if you can sink in. Your heart will tell you if it is or if it's not. And you've got to learn to trust that, whether it's the answer you want to hear or not. And so you can do it yourself. I don't want anybody listening thinking, oh my God, I have to go out and hire an expensive accountant or an expensive CPA. You can do this.
Yeah.
yourself.
Which later I'm gonna ask you when is the right time. So
Okay.
we'll get to
Okay. Good.
that.
Yes. And so, yeah, it's getting quiet. It's figuring out those little answers about where do you want to go. Let's back into it. How much do you need to pay your bills, to feed your family, and to go on some trips and to spend some money? Like, what life do you want to live? Let's back engineer it. Let's figure out what those paintings need to cost. Where do you need to get them seen? All of those things. There's a ton of resources out there. It's just finding them. It's getting out of your head because your head will tell you nasty, negative things, and you've got to catch it. And you've got to say, no, 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 I have a plan for this. And so, yeah, artists starting out, we can get to those levels by really back engineering it. Artists that are making millions and millions of dollars, they're running teams of 13, 20 people, on their team as an artist. There's always waste. And we've got to hone in on that's when we're really looking at what projects are profitable, which ones are people burning time on, how many of those employees are just kind of like wasting hours. How do we get it more succinct so those millions and millions of dollars that you are making, I want more of it in your pocket at the end of the day as the artist. So when you decide I want to retire or I want to take a break, I don't think any artist truly retires, will create forever. But when you want to when you get to that point as an artist and you're running teams, now you are responsible for somebody else's family, okay? As an artist. And I think that's a whole nother level of pressure that you have to decide as an artist, do I want that? Or do I just want to create and sustain me? Or how big do I want this operation to get? Some artists do not want to get there and some artists love it. But at that point, it's just how is more of that money going into your pocket? And that's the story for everybody. But even as an artist making millions and millions of dollars, people will look at them and get jealous or upset. And I'm like, they have worked very hard to get to this point and they are responsible for a lot. And there's a lot of money that goes out the door when you get to that
Mhm.
level of being.
Right. And I think also a lot of artists don't think of the idea of reinvesting in your business, right? Every business has to invest in itself for it to grow. So a lot of times, an artist all of a sudden you get a big sale, and already in there before they get the check or the payment has grown to their account, they already spend it in their mind,
Yeah,
like right, I'm gonna buy this,
yes,
I'm gonna buy
yes.
that, but nothing went back into the business. It all kind of went outsourced to other things, and maybe good things, but but how you grow a business by investing in your
Yes.
own business
And
and
savings. I
and
mean, there
building that.
there could be
Yeah.
months, a month or 2 months or more where you're burnt out as an artist and
Right.
you gotta find your creativity again, and you might not make a sell for a month or 3 months, especially if it's just you, and
Hmm.
then some of that money that you've just blown it because it came in, some of that I always tell artists, like, you need to set some of that aside. One, taxes, you're gonna have to pay
Right.
taxes on it. That's not even your money. Let's not even look at it like, that immediately comes out and goes into a separate account. And the second
Hmm.
thing is like, you need a little cushion for when you get burned out because it's going to happen. And
Right.
I don't want you stressed out about how I'm going to eat and be burnt
Right.
out at the same time. So
Right.
yeah, reinvesting is like putting it back into the business. How can you take the business further? And then
Right.
where's your cushion where you say, I want to take a break?
Right. No, absolutely. Like reinvesting for me, it has a thing from the start. One of the things that I decided early on, like, that really has made the big impact in my career. Like I want to invest in my business, in my growth, personal growth, in my learning, hiring, people that can help me get better in different areas. Even like when I started the podcast, right? I didn't know how to do a podcast. And like I can spend hours on YouTube, but I'm just gonna hire somebody who's really good at it, who has a program, and it's gonna cost me, but I'll be off running, in a month, and I'll know exactly what I'm doing versus wasting time trying to learn and figure it out just to save some, which at the end is more expensive because it takes you away from everything else that could be actually making a
So
bigger
important.
difference.
So important. And
Yeah.
that's when, as an artist, there's all those different things you can hire out. I'm guilty of this.
Hmm.
I'm so guilty of trying to do everything myself. And I have
Hmm.
realized it took becoming a mother for me to
Mm.
realize my time is extremely valuable now that I have a little kid and a
Yeah.
business. And I can't do it all. And that's okay. Like, I don't want to spend time trying to learn how to do social media or do whatever it is when
Hmm.
there's professionals out there that I can hire. And yeah,
Yeah.
it hurts the first couple times you pay them, and then you move on. You can create more art,
Right.
pay the professionals to
Yeah.
run. You've got to figure out where your weak, quote unquote, weakness. I don't love
Hmm.
that word, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
Hmm.
quote unquote, like
Yeah. Yeah.
what are you not great at? Or what do you procrastinate
Hmm.
on, or any of it? Somebody, I
Hmm.
promise, can do it for you.
Right.
And
And
you,
sometimes it's a choice. You may be even good at
yeah,
it, but like you choose not to because you could spend that time into something else. That will be better. And that's kind of like the difference of the greatest CEOs. They have known how to spend their time, right? Not chasing the minute things that decisions that somebody else can make, but really focusing on the vision and the ideas and the things that really will push you forward. Yeah, but I think the problem for many artists, like thinking long term, we don't see the results right away, and we are, it's like we're used to making the art and seeing the art when it's done quickly, right? But when it comes to planning your art business, it's like you gotta look ahead, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like you said, what do you want to be, so that you can reverse engineer it. Yeah. Yeah, I want to ask you some, like, maybe um they're not rapid fire questions because I think there's a lot you can talk about this, but kind of like a series of, like, maybe quick questions that maybe you can come up with like some quick answers. You can spend as long as you want. Like I said, each one of these could be a whole episode, but just kind of like some things that could start triggering our friends some way or thinking about it. So, for example, what financial metrics should every artist be tracking each month? Like the simplest things.
simplest thing, in and outs. How much money did you make coming in? How much did you spend going out? That's the easiest thing to start tracking. The next one,
Hmm.
I'd add hours onto it. Start figuring out how many hours you're spending on each painting or whatever pottery, whatever the art is.
Yeah. And when they mix, like, because a lot of artists, they work from home or they work at
Yes.
home, should they separate their art related things from their personal
Yeah,
things?
that's also step number one if you want to take this seriously as a business and not a hobby. You open a separate checking account for art, and then you have your separate
Mhm.
personal life account. I don't care if you can't get a business account, whatever. Just open another personal checking account, another credit card if you need it. I don't love credit cards unless you can pay them off, right? But there's a
Mhm.
time and a place for that
Yeah.
too. But no, it needs to be separate, and you've got to take it seriously. Occasionally, you're going to commingle. That's not a big deal. We can fix that.
Mhm.
There's ways around that. But no, money from your art goes into one account. Money that you're spending on supplies goes out of that account. And then
Mhm.
your home, your rent, your food, clothes, that's in your personal account. You've got to keep them
Mhm.
separate.
What's one of the biggest myths when it comes to taxes that artists make? Like, for example, I remember, like, right, oh, you can, like, write off just about everything that you spend
Yeah, that's
forever.
yeah. The biggest tax, yeah, is listening to people on social media talk to you about tax advice. Honestly, a lot of it is trash, and a lot of it is just to get likes and
Sometimes it's just your friends who
yeah,
don't know
it's
what they're
yes.
talking.
Yeah. A big one that I hear, rapid fire, big one that I hear is like create yourself as an S corp. No, no, there is a time and a place for an S corp. You need to be making money to be an S corp. So that's, you hear that on social media all the time. You're going to save you're not going to pay taxes if you're an S corp. That's absolutely not true. You can buy everything and write it off. No, you can't. And no, you can't. And then the other one is like, I don't like the IRS, so I'm not going to pay them. Okay, well, I have some of those beliefs. I don't like the IRS. Fine, whatever. However, I like my life and I don't
Right.
want to get in trouble with the IRS. So my thing is I don't play around with the IRS. It's
Yeah.
another mindset shift. Be thankful that you sold art and that you made money and now you get to pay taxes. What a gift.
Mhm.
What an
Mhm.
amazing thing that you sold
Exactly.
enough that you can pay your taxes. Every time I pay a
Right.
tax bill, I say thank you so much for letting me do
Right.
this. Um, so yeah, find a good CPA, a good tax preparer. Tax preparers, they're far and anybody can be a tax preparer. You don't even have to be a CPA. Anybody can be a tax preparer. But you need to find one that truly cares about trying to save you money, not just filling
Mhm.
out your form.
And that was actually my next question. At what point should an artist look for professional help?
Once you start, okay, yeah, this one's hard because I have some artists that are like, I can't do this, and I try to change it. If you're at 100,000, if you're at $60,000 a year, you should start considering it. Like if you've sold $60,000 worth of art or prints or whatever you're doing, you should think about it. You should start interviewing and finding somebody that
Hmm.
jives with you. And you need to find somebody that you like, okay? And that's okay. Set up
Absolutely, I
set up
love
a
that.
lot of interviews. If you don't like that person, don't. Like you've got to be able to openly communicate. Find somebody that you're comfortable with. If you're making 100,000 or more a year, I think you should have already been having those conversations.
Hmm.
I think at that point, there's some talks. Yeah, should we switch your status to an S corp? Is it beneficial?
Hmm.
What other ways can we start saving you money? An accountant, somebody like me, I get you ready for your taxes. I hate taxes
Hmm.
too, guys. Like I hate it. And so I don't prep the forms, but
You
we
don't
get
love them, really?
no, we get yeah,
You
I
don't get
don't
a
love it.
T-shirt
I don't love
from the
it.
IRS that says "I love IRS."
Yeah. I love that I make money that I can pay the IRS. Great. Wonderful.
But
I
that's
love
good.
working for myself. I help you get ready for your taxes. Not all CPAs are good at taxes. I'm not good at filling out the form because I don't keep
Mhm.
up with all the changing things every year. I work very hard to find tax preparers that are awesome and that work really,
Mhm.
really well with me and really, really well with my clients. And then it's a team, it's teamwork at that point to make sure that we have captured everything we can capture to save you money and that the
Mhm.
tax preparer cares about my clients. And I sit in on
Right.
those meetings. I'm there because it's very important to me that we are keeping as much money in your pocket as legally possible. And there
It's
are
possible,
so
right?
many ways that you guys can
Yeah.
save so much money on taxes.
Yeah. And something that I think one of the biggest values, at least for us, like when we started working with a CPA many years ago, we first started with a local one, people that was recommended to us. Specifically, it was a time when we were just starting opening the gallery. That is like 20 years ago, and somebody recommended, well, here's this accountant that works with a lot of galleries in Chicago. That's where I started. And so we went with her because, she kind of was already aware of how artists work and the things like that, right? So, one of the wonderful things about working with a professional is that, you know, you don't have time to find out as an artist, all the things that are changing in the law when it comes to taxes, things that really can affect you and things that can really benefit you, right? So they are there. They can give you that advice. And then I love also you said this has to be somebody that you can connect with, that you can trust, and that you can grow with. For our as our business grew, we came to a point like I think we need something else, something more robust, something that could help us look at the long term. So that's when we started to work with a bigger company that now, every quarter we sit down with them. They keep track of things, they say, hey, and they even sometimes give us, red flags, questions like, hey, I noticed that, this item just kind of went up quite a bit last month. Is everything okay? Are you going in a different direction that I don't know? And sometimes for as much as you try to keep track of your numbers, but as you grow and as your business becomes more complex, let's say as an artist, you start doing also more multiple income streams, right? It's not just the art that you sell on the gallery, but it's also prints. You do speaking, you do books, you do this, you do collaborations, you do partnership with a brand. So you may have start coming money with different directions, in and out, both ways, and somebody as an outsider can have a better look at how the operations are happening and can ask you the right questions so you can make the right decisions for the future,
Absolutely. That's so
and what you want to build.
That's so I have a short, I don't know if this will be good for everybody to hear, but it might be. Two things. Money is very personal. So you have to find somebody. I'm trying to break that. I want to break that down because to me, I'm like, let's just talk
I
about
love
it.
it.
But money is personal for people. And so when people look at your finances or maybe you're not making enough money, like the artist sometimes or the client gets embarrassed and you
Hmm.
have to be comfortable talking to your CPA, your accountant, your bookkeeper. If they are not responsive, if they are not kind, if they are rude, there are other people
Right.
out there. Okay. You've got
Yeah.
to find somebody that you're comfortable with. I don't want anybody to ever talk to me about money and feel uncomfortable. That's my number one rule when I talk to somebody is like, we're going to break all this down. I will never judge you and I will never compare you to somebody else. I will never talk about your finances with anybody else. It's very personal. So find somebody that you're comfortable with. You're in a
Hmm.
relationship with this person, and if you want to grow, make more, they need to be there to support you for that. I had owned a business with my sister when I got really sick and I quit corporate life. We opened up another
Hmm.
business. I'm in Texas. We were one of the first cannabis companies to come to Texas.
Right.
I was big into it. I mean, I was a big supporter. It helped me like through a bunch of medical stuff. So we were one of the
Hmm.
first like CBD companies 8 years ago to
Wow.
and we were young and stupid enough to do it. Is probably the answer. We were young and
That's
stupid
awesome.
without a family. And so we did it. And it was great. The first couple of years were great. I learned a lot. And then the last 2 years were terrible. Guys, I still had my CPA license. I was still doing, I mean, I was doing all the accounting. I knew it was bad, but I was in the business. I was operating it. We had employees, yada, yada. And
Hmm.
I still could not take a step back from my own business and say, this is failing. Like, we're not going to make it.
Hmm.
I knew it in
Hmm.
my gut and I saw it in the
Hmm.
numbers, but I ignored it, ignored it, ignored it. And so a lot of times, I think it's really important, like you said, to have somebody outside, somebody
Yeah.
external to look at your numbers without the
Hmm.
emotion and say something's not working. Like, how much
Right.
longer can you go? Um, and we shut that business. COVID happened. We closed it down. All of that.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to get over the failure of a business. Now I look at it as a gift. I learned so much, and I learned so much that I can teach my clients. I can see things with different perspective now. But hey, me as a CPA, as a CFO, all of that in my own business, I didn't want to make the call. I didn't. I
Right.
wanted to ignore it.
Right. Right. No, I love that. I love the way you put it in. So important. And it's for the benefit, for your own benefit as an artist, you want a long lasting career. It's for your benefit to have bring somebody who can ask you the hard questions that sometimes you don't want to ask yourself, which is so important, so important. And now another topic that perhaps may seem like separate from this, but I think it's all connected 'cause it affects all of us too. And with this also, I want to start getting into a an awesome event that you're planning to, as you're also helping artists and working with artists. One is the AI, right? I think it's like it's impossible to bring a guest now and not talk about something about AI or even pronounce it in some way, right? So AI, yeah. So what is your take? So I know like in your social media you've been asking artists, and I love that you asking them in person. You go around and you say, "So what's your take on AI? Are you scared? Are you happy?" Um, I want to reverse the question. What is your take on
I get a
AI?
lot of hate on AI. I think it's just a very controversial topic right now with where we're at. So, me as a business owner, if I put my business owner hat on, I use AI, guys. I mean, I use AI in my business. It's
I use it too.
helped me be super efficient. It's helped me speed up things that I could have never done by myself. It helps me serve my clients 1,000 times better. Okay. So I see the benefit as a business owner. Um, and my husband is in the cybersecurity world. So he's got different views than I do. He's looking at it as things are happening really fast. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's my view too, is whether you like AI or not, it's here. And
Yeah.
it's here. And whether you hate it or you're mad at it, I get it. Fine. It's here, and this is how our world is going to start developing. And so you need to learn it. Ugh, and I get a lot of
Yeah.
pushback from that. But that's what I truly believe is I don't think it's going away at this point.
No.
I don't know. Maybe one day we wake up and they turn it off. I think we're past that point.
Yeah. I don't think that switch exists
I
anymore.
don't, I don't think it does either. But maybe people want to believe that to make them feel better. But I think we're past it. Yes, I think from a business perspective, things are going to change rapidly.
Right.
If you are working, yeah, and I don't know how far you want me to get down the rabbit hole. If you are doing a call center job, if you are doing something for extra cash, I think those go away pretty quick. And that's scary. I sympathize with everybody in that world. I've got older parents that have jobs that I
Yeah.
think are going to go away with the quickly too. Like, we're talking like
Hmm.
the next 2-3 years.
Right.
Bookkeeping on my job, some of my job is going to go away. And
I was going to ask you about that.
I'm aware of it. There's a lot of CPAs who are keeping their head in the sand, thinking they're still going to be prepping taxes. No, all of that's going to be done more efficiently, more accurately
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
these systems. I ask myself every day, how am I preparing for that? I prepare for that because I'm more than just punching numbers in. I create relationships
Mm-hmm.
with my artists and with my clients. And there's I can talk to you about your art in a way that the AI can't yet. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it will. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's a human element to AI that it's not going to be able to touch on.
Yeah.
Maybe later. I mean, I keep all avenues open. But yeah, no, bookkeeping, number entry, I try to make that efficient. If I can make that
Mm-hmm.
efficient for my clients, I don't have to charge them as much. Okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
they don't have to pay me as much to sit there and type in the numbers if I can program my AI to do this. So there's some benefit there in the art world. So business, as an artist, please don't ignore it. Please don't run away from it. Learn it. Start learning to embrace it from your business side. As an
Mm-hmm.
artist, I think as an artist, we are all I've been trying now for months to find the right words, Sergio. I feel like I don't want to say safe, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
we create with our hands and with our heart and with our soul, and that is not something AI can do. It can't. And so I'm always going to want a painting that was painted by somebody, by an artist that I can call and say I need this. I
Right.
I yes, AI is going to be able, yes, AI can replicate things and yes, it can do this and that. And maybe there's a place for it in the art world.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there is. But I think we all have a gift. And if we keep cultivating that gift as an artist, we are going to excel in the future in a world of AI. I truly believe people are going to, like, we're having this golden renaissance age again of what's created with your hands. I mean, what do we connect
Mm-hmm.
with people? Um, I talked to a lot of artists at a lot of shows, and I ask every one of them this question, and some of them are really afraid of it. Some of them are like, bring it on. Like, bring it on. Like, I'm ready. I'm confident with what I create. I'm confident with my collectors. Let's see where it goes. I've had
I love it.
I've had a few artists that are like, I think at the juror shows, let it in. Let it in. But they need to say on the application, this is AI created. You should have a sticker on your booth. You should have a something on your booth letting people know this is AI art, but let it go. Stop. Then I have other artists that are like, absolutely not, no way, never. I found the artists that make a lot of money are the ones that just stop getting so hung up in all of this and just do you do focus on you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
I get a lot of hate for talking about AI, and I don't know how to make
Yeah. No.
everybody happy.
It's impossible, right? I think same for me. I'm one who likes. Something comes out new. I like to try it. I like to test it. And then I'll talk about what the experience did for me, right? How it worked. And artists who a lot of times talk about AI and all that. Like, well, did you know that when you Google an address, you're already using AI, right? That's already. It's not ChatGPT is not the only thing that's AI. AI has already been around. It's already been thing. I think one of the biggest concerns for many artists, particularly also artists who are and it's a good reason, about the environment, right? All
Yeah.
these data
Yeah.
centers and
Yes.
things like that. And
Yes.
and and I often talk about also with artists in the sense where like, okay, you know, that is true. That's something of concern, and we can also continue bringing these things to light. But keep this in mind, when you are in your phone for 2 hours scrolling, that is a data center that is serving you that feed. Don't think that AI is just ChatGPT or sometimes we are so good at pointing out like, oh, that is really bad, but we don't realize that we
Yeah.
actually we're
But
doing the
I'm going to keep
same on the
scrolling
other
because I like it.
side.
Yeah. No. Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's so frustrating that sometimes the people who may be attacking you are the ones who are spending hours and hours on their device, and that is using data as centers,
Yeah.
who are making heat as
Yeah.
well. So
They're the ones
not to
sending
not
they're the ones sending the like mean, nasty comments to all on our social
exactly.
media. And you're like, the
Yeah.
the environment is such a good point. And my one positive outtake on this, It's horrible. I mean, yes, I do
Yeah.
not want a data center in Texas. I do not, and they're everywhere. I don't want them in my backyard, all of that. And here I am
Mhm.
using AI every day for my business. So it's a constant, like, I'm thinking about it. A
Yeah.
positive that I like to think about is this going to be the time now where our outdated energy systems start to shift?
Mhm.
Is this where we start coming
Mhm.
up with alternative energy that is more than solar and wind? Like, where's
Right.
that technology that they, and I won't go down my conspiracy rabbit holes, but where's that technology that they have kept from the population? Where is that free energy? And when is it going to start coming out? And why can't that stuff power these? Like, when is the shift going to happen where,
Yeah.
okay, we're moving into a world of no going back with AI, energy and those things are going to have to support it. So
Mhm.
what other changes are positive,
Oh,
guys? What other positive changes are we going to see come out of
yeah.
this?
All technologies evolve, and I think that's a beautiful thing about art and art is that we can bring to light those concerns. If you're an artist who works with the environment, such and this is a big concern, talk about it. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to bring it out. It's okay to because when we talk about it and we bring awareness without being hateful or hurtful to others, people who make decisions can see that there's concerns about those things and that's I'm always against like extremes, right? Extremes of one side or the other on anything. And I feel that you know, as you say, AI has so many good things, things that need to be worked out, need to be of concern, and you know, I find myself just kind of like pinching myself every morning, like I cannot believe I'm living this in this time, 2026. At the cusp of a big human change at the cusp of social media where I can connect with Amber, over the call right now, and you're in somewhere in Texas or
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, you're
even
right.
know where you're at.
Texas.
I'm here in Florida, and we're having this amazing conversation, right? And I can hang up and then connect to somebody who's on the other side of the world. That's incredible. That in itself is it's unreal to think about it, and we have it, and that leads me also to how we use technology also to bring people together, to unite people, to help one another. I believe that our community is a small community. Sometimes you feel like it's huge, but I'm one that from the start I wanted to or my motto was like, when one of us wins, we all win, right? When Amber wins as an artist, we all win. When I win, we all win, right? It's not about who does more or less, but how can we all win? So you're doing something that also will continue helping artists win. It's called the Creative Growth Summit. I would love to hear more about it. I would love to invite our friends who are listening to make sure they sign up right away. So make sure that they get a spot on it. Um, I'm super happy to also have been invited to be one of the speakers. I'll tell you a bit what I'm going to talk about. But tell us first, what is the Creative Growth Summit? Where the idea came from,
Yeah.
and what is it? Why would our friends sign up?
So the idea came from artists calling and asking questions and wanting information, but they couldn't afford my services yet, right? They couldn't afford to work with. And I will tell you, when you call me and you tell me what you're making, I'm like, you're not there yet. Call me back when you hit here. Let me try to give you as much free information as I can. Let me try to help you as much as I can. And that's where the idea, I was like, how can I get more information to artists that they need to grow their business without the gatekeeping? How can we do that for free? And the idea was we put the summit together and we try to get as many different speakers talking about different aspects of the art world and give this information to them for free, and then hope that they take that, feel what resonates with the artist, and you can use that then to go and grow your business to those next levels to make more money. That was the whole reason behind it. I was like, how do I get free information out there?
Hmm.
And it's just evolved and it's going to keep evolving. And I'm
Sure.
really excited to see. The first year we called it the Artist Growth Summit. Now we're doing creative because it's a broader scope
Hmm.
anybody who's a creative can benefit
Yeah.
from this information. We've got it's going to be it's a 2-day free event. So in September, it's 2-day free event, and you can watch it for free during those 2 days. If you need more time, because it's got a lot of information, guys. So if you do want more time, you can buy the all access pass. It's not very much. We're keeping it under $100, and then you get a much longer time to watch everything, and you get some free
Hmm.
resources and things like that. So that, in a nutshell, is what it is. We've got 20 speakers this year, and the list is. I'm like trying to put the brakes on it, but the list is kind of keep growing. Uh, awesome speakers, and it's going to cover it. We have a mindset day one, and day two is
Awesome.
business focused day. So we've got coaches and lawyers. I've got two lawyers speaking about how to protect your business, how to trademark, how to copyright, and what to do.
Hmm.
So, I mean, amazing. How many times do you get to listen to a lawyer give you all of that free information about what to do for your
Okay.
business? We've got people talking about how to market, social media, websites, muralists. We have a art professor at one of the top universities that's going to talk to you about how to sell, that selling tactics about it, and the list is just growing. So I'm very excited to I just want you all to have as much information as you can, and it's going to be short and concise and to the point. I don't like a lot of fluffiness. I want it to be like,
Hmm.
what can I use in my business? You have an awesome presentation. I'll let you talk about it, but in a nutshell, that's what it is, and I really hope you all sign up and join.
What are the dates?
The dates,
And when did I sign up?
I don't want to tell you wrong. I'm pulling my calendar right now. I believe September 14th and 15th, as my media girls on the other side are like dying as they watch this. I lied. It's the 15th and the 16th. It's September 15th and
I'll tell you
16th.
what. Answer the question for me again, and then I'll just edit out.
Thank you. The summit is September 15th and 16th are the days that it's going to go live, and it'll be free on those days. So definitely, I mean, like the whole 48 hours. So you can sign up and watch it. We're also going to go live at 11 a.m. Central on both of those days. And we're going to have some of those speakers be on a live panel. You can jump on, you can ask whatever, literally, guys, whatever questions you want. And we will have a panel of speakers and artists and different people with different perspectives to be able to answer those questions.
I love it. Super excited. Well, I will be speaking about the collector pyramid, how to find the right buyers for your art. Right? One of the first things I learned when I became a professional artist, like, well, my art is not for everyone. Like, do you mean that not everybody likes my art? Like, that feels bad, right? Well, you quickly realize that's the truth. So then it's like, okay, how do I find those who connect with me, who with my message, with what I'm trying to do with my work, and working with a gallery. So working on both sides as an artist and also as a gallery owner for now over 20 years and a curator now over 100 and something exhibitions. Um, I've been able to kind of ask the question how it's really that talk came as the result of asking myself the question, how does art moves in the world, right? How does it move once it leaves your studio? And so I kind of identify like three segments of art collectors. And it's really until I did that myself and I understood it better that I was able to become more successful as reaching specific targets. A lot of times, we're like, I want to find more art collectors. And I always say that as well. Nobody walks around with a label in their t-shirt that says, "Hello, I'm an art collector," right?
Yeah, that's so funny.
So you could be sitting, in the subway next to a big time collector and you don't know it. Sometimes we think art collectors have the Gucci bag, and no, not
No,
necessarily.
yeah, no.
Sometimes an art collector, I've seen in my experience, collectors who look like really they just came from like working a 9 to 5,
Yes,
street job,
yes.
and say, I want that one, and it's the biggest painting in the show. You know, you just cannot assume by the looks or by the idea. So this talk kind of helps us to make it easy. So just like you, I like to simplify ideas and make it easy in a way that we can visualize it and that we can say, okay, so what can I do about it, right? And particularly, I think we live now in a world where we have the opportunity. Because here's the truth: a lot of when I started my career, a lot of the collectors who started collecting from me, they are not collecting anymore because they are right now trying to figure out what am I going to do with my collection, right? They are at a different stage in life. They're older. They're uh, moving on. So I had to also ask myself, okay, so what's the alternative? And I think this is the opportunity that we all have in 2026 and with the tools that we all have too, accessible to us to help people to start becoming art collectors, and go through that process. So in the talk, I'll share about that as well and why I'm so excited about it because I believe anyone, can become an art collector. And you may be as the artist who they started with. And if you give them a great experience, that person might say, oh, it was really awesome to buy from Amber. Maybe I'm gonna look for another artist, or maybe I'm gonna keep an eye, see what she has next. Because you made it worthwhile, because you made it awesome for them. So what an incredible thing. And that's how you build a career where you see people transforming from a first time buyer. So a first time buyer is not an art collector, it's just a first time buyer, right? First time buyer to an art collector, and to what I eventually called a like a lifetime supporter, somebody who maybe have to come to a reach in their career where they have already purchased so much art from you, they don't need anymore. They're not even buying from you anymore. But because there's your lifetime supporter, they're introducing you to other people. They are, they have your best interest in mind, and they find you opportunities. And that's a beautiful thing. And I have seen that through my career. And so that's what the talk is about.
I
I
can't
want to share
I
about
can't
that.
wait to hear it.
So
I
it's going to
cannot
be fun.
wait to hear your talk.
It's going to be fun. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But
Make sure you sign up,
yes,
Amber.
oh yes. I mean,
Okay,
I'm
so
selfishly like, of course, I'm helping pick topics, and I'm like, I want to hear that one, and I like cannot wait to listen to everybody's topic. But Sergio, you will have your own link, and so people can sign up with
yes,
your link. And please, guys, sign up through Sergio's link.
we'll put it in the chat as well. Amber, what is your social media so people can find you there? I'm sure they'll see a lot of things about the summit. They will see it on my account too as we get closer.
Perfect.
So, what is your social media where people can
Social
find you?
media. Oh, we started a TikTok this year too. So it's
Oh,
Instagram,
nice.
Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Dots and Digits Accounting. So it's long, guys, but Dots and Digits Accounting. We'll put it down. I'm on LinkedIn too, if somebody prefers that. But yeah, check it out. My goal is to try to post valuable information for artists. And what my media girls tell me is don't read the mean comments. Okay, like the whole goal. I am not here to make anybody feel jealous or bad about themselves. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to take in. Every artist has a different viewpoint, and every artist has a different path to where they have gotten, and they are opening themselves up to give this information to you. And it is nerve-wracking for the artist. It's hard for them when I go and interview them, but they want to help artists. And so when we show these clips on my social, it is literally, please take it as inspiration for you as an artist. If you resonate with it, run with it, take their advice and grow. I want you all
Super.
to make money.
Awesome. Thank you, Amber. It's been exactly 1 hour since we started chatting. So I know you have things to do. You probably have artists to help today too, as well. And I want to thank you for your time, for sharing your knowledge. You do work that is so important for us as artists to the success of our careers. And, so wonderful to have somebody who understands it, who gets it, who can connect the dots,
There you got it.
as well, and help us with the things that sometimes we find difficult, because there's no reason why that shouldn't be on the way of your success in 2026 or 2027 or whenever you're listening to the podcast or watching this video. So thank you, Amber. Thank you to your team also for making it easy for us. We'll see you at the Creative Summit. It's going to be awesome. Creative Growth Summit. When I give the right branding,
You're good.
Creative Growth Summit. I'll be there. Our friends will be there as well. And my friends, don't be afraid of numbers. Don't be afraid of money. It's leverage that we have in the world to make our art more accessible to people as well. So thank you for listening. I will see you at the next level.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.